Then we close that section and proceed with the manager's report. And just before we proceed with that report, at our last meeting, I was able to give a little summary of Robert's Rules, which are the rules under which we operate or use as guide for conducting our meetings. And I have some additional points to make on that this evening, as we have many things on our agenda tonight that have been on the agenda month after month, and it is my goal to get through all of these items tonight and come back next month with fresh items to address for the village. So I'm going to continue to insist that we have appropriate behavior and an appropriate process in the meetings and during our debate. And just want to briefly give you the bullet points of decorum in debate, which are confining remarks to the merits of pending questions, refraining from attacking members' motives, addressing all remarks through the chair. Robert's Rules, they avoid the use of members' names, which is not our custom here. But we should refrain from speaking adversely on a prior action not pending, refrain from speaking against one's own motion, refrain from reading from reports or quotations are only allowed with permission of the majority of the board and if there is no objection. Robert's Rules directs being seated during an interruption by the chair, and as we do not ordinarily stand to address, then that would be interpreted to say standing down while an interruption by the chair, and refraining from disturbing the assembly. In past meetings, we've heard from a commissioner or two opine that the chair is out of order, and then that commissioner proceeds to improperly interrupt and continues to speak while being instructed by the chair. Commissioners are not to interrupt the chair. It is the chair's obligation to instruct a speaker in order to conduct an efficient meeting, and that duty includes putting a stop to disruption and unproductive use of our time. There is a process for appealing a decision of the chair, and if one is unsatisfied with that decision, then you can follow that process, but it does not include being insolent, rude, or speaking over the chair. The process is outlined by Robert's Rules. Is started by the member stating, "I appeal from the decision of the chair," that, whatever the action is that's being appealed from. The appeal must be made in a timely manner. If there is other business that has been conducted, then it's too late to appeal. An appeal of the chair's decision is debatable unless it relates to indecorum or transgression of the rules of speaking, relates to priority of business, or is made while the immediately pending question is undebatable. In those events, there is no debate on the appeal, but merely a vote is taken and a majority or a tie vote sustains the decision. So therefore, the chair is never out of order unless so ruled by a majority of the commission. Now, in order to get through some of these items that we have been on our agenda for several months, I'm going to propose that we limit debate to 5 minutes per commissioner. Our custom is 10 minutes, so I'm proposing that we limit to 5 minutes unless that time is extended by a vote. Or if the issue requires further discussion, then perhaps we arrange a special meeting or a special workshop to address those items.
Mayor?
And then bring them back framed so that they can proceed and we can get the business accomplished.
Mayor?
So I will accept such a motion to limit debate to 5 minutes and a second.
Mayor, this wasn't on the agenda.
This is not on the agenda. The chair is instructing on how the meetings will be conducted. We do not have a process set up, and now this will be a process so that we can get through our agenda and address the items that everyone is looking for us to address.
Well,
So may I have a motion
could I
and
speak,
may I
Mayor?
have a motion and a second to limit our debate?
I'll second it.
So I have a motion and a second to limit debate to 5 minutes. You have a
Discussion?
comment, sir?
Well, I was wondering if you could, the part about reading quotes, you just read a very long quote. What were the rules regarding that, if you could refresh my memory?
I'm instructing you on Robert's rules, sir.
Well, I wanted clarification. Also, would you read the portion about when somebody has the floor, the limits of the chair to interrupt the person who has the floor? It's in there. Would you like to find it? And if it had been on the agenda, we could have actually had a healthy exchange. But you chose to not put something on the agenda, and you've already basically violated your own rules that you just read.
We're establishing the rule this evening.
Well,
I'd like
Any
to say
further
something.
comment? Commissioner Bernard?
If you would like to establish something, the proper way to do it is to fill out an agenda report like all of us have to do, provide the information you would like us to discuss, give us the opportunity to understand what you want to do, and then not make the motion yourself.
Yeah.
I believe Robert's rule says if you want a
That's another
motion,
point.
you hand over the gavel, you make the motion.
Another
But what you're doing tonight is limiting discussion. That is the headline of the day. Mayor wants to limit discussion. Some of the items are complicated, some of them aren't. But if you want to limit it to 5 minutes, when you tried to limit it to 10, a bunch of people came out here and said, don't do that. We need our commissioners to fully understand and fully discuss. And what I find extremely ironic is the day you said, we're not here to be educated, and here you are educating us. Now, I don't have a problem if you want to play fair, but none of us have the Roberts Rules book. None of us had the opportunity to look at what you're asking for. You spoke very quickly. We don't know the depths of it. We don't know the details of it. And yet, you want to make a rule based on that. And you got your one commissioner to make a motion, another to second it, and I'd be surprised if they knew what you were going to do, or if they understand it the way I don't understand it. So the idea that you can come in and say, we're going to change the rules, 5 minutes per commissioner, that's it, is entirely the wrong way to do it. And I would suggest that since you became mayor, the reason the meetings go so long is because you insist on everybody going through the chair. And you insist on formal practices that are not necessary when we can simply have a discussion, get out the information we need, vote on it, and do it. Now, I can already see there's going to be a 3-2 vote, so why don't you already go and do it? It's just a travesty that you want to run a meeting on the spur of the moment, giving no notice, giving no information. But hey, you're the chair, and as you said, the chair is never wrong. Chair never interrupts. The chair can't make a mistake. Go ahead.
Commissioner Bernard, what you just paraphrased was not what I said.
I don't have it in front of me. I don't have a choice
You've
but to
already made your
paraphrase.
comments, sir. You've already made your comments. What I read from you is Robert's rules. We've all agreed that we operate loosely with Robert's rules as a guide.
Loosely.
It is brought back to me again and again. The chair has to, the duty of the chair is to handle the business, to handle the agenda, to make sure that we have a thorough enough discussion to make a decision, and to not delay these decisions, to get the business accomplished. That is the duty of the chair.
It's one of the duties of the chair.
What I am asking tonight is to limit debate to 5 minutes so that we can get to the items that have been on our agenda month after month, as you yourself have said. With that, if we have any other comments, then I'm going to ask for a vote to limit debate to 5 minutes unless further extended by a majority of the commission. All in favor?
Of course not.
Aye. Opposed?
No.
No.
Motion carries 3-2.
I'd like to ask the attorney if this is a proper procedure to change rules in the middle of the game.
You're out of order, but I'm going to ask the attorney to respond to that.
Well, then why am I out of order if you can ask? If I can't ask and you can.
Commissioner Bernard, we're going to run an orderly meeting here. This is what people expect from us. The people who elected us to this position expected an orderly address of their business concerns.
Unfortunately, they do expect
Commissioner
this of
Bernard,
you right
you're
now.
out of order.
Bang the gavel.
Ms. Butis.
Good evening, everyone. Robert's Rules is used by most municipalities as a guidance for the running of their business. What the mayor has said here is a synopsis of some of the procedures within Robert's Rules. As you don't have any written procedures, and as she is running the meeting, she can request for the procedures to go forward and to limit debate to 5 minutes. It is your choice through the motion and the second to vote it up or vote it down. So I hope I've answered your question.
Thank you, Ms. Brutus. With that, we're going to proceed to the next section of our agenda, and that is the village manager's report.